So today on Stewart Talk, we have with us a very special guest, someone who's been a very important role model, a very important figure in the city of Toledo, and even online with the athletes of the 70s and 80s group. We have with us today Mr. Charles Hillery. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, sir, and yourself?
I'm doing great. Just had a great weekend, enjoying some festivities with the Bulldogs, Bulldog weekend. So it was very exciting. And then that even brings me back to the group that you are a part of, that you were fortunate to be able to bless others to be a part of. I've seen many different people that is on the group that I met on the group that I knew because of the group. So just real fast, just bring us up to date. How did you get involved with sports, and what sports did you play coming up, and what age were you?
First, my name is Charles Hillery of Athletes of the 70s and 80s page on Facebook. I grew up in the first I went to school at Washington Elementary when I first got to Toledo. I moved to Toledo from Brooklyn, New York. And I went to Washington, and then my sports history kind of started there because we used to play like tackle football out by the flagpole before school started and after school. So I
Mm-hmm.
got in a lot of trouble doing that, but that's what we did when I started growing up. And then I attended Fulton Elementary School, or junior high school, I guess it's called nowadays. And I went there and I played basketball and football, volleyball for the school, the Fulton Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
And then after graduating from Fulton, I went and played football for DeVilbiss,
Okay.
football and basketball. You know, I had a chance to go to Scott High School, but again, they wanted me to play one sport, and my cousin had made All City and started at nose guard for the city champs, the DeVilbiss Tigers, in 1974. So he
Okay.
came over and kind of recruited me, and that's where it all started per se. But I was pretty good in junior high school also, you know, in
Okay.
football and basketball. So it just proceeded on. I've been playing sports, man, and you know, your brother, you know, he was a big inspiration to me over when I lived on Winthrop by Scott and your uncle, Michael Witcher, Danny Witcher. These guys were big influences on my life, you know, and we would go on Scott Field and play until we got really good. And if
Yeah.
you played with Danny Witcher, you got real good or you got hurt.
What
That's a
was your
fact.
brother's name?
My brother,
Yes,
Carl.
Carl. Okay, Carl. Shouts out to Carl.
Yeah, he was in the band at Scott.
Okay.
He could have played football, but he didn't, you know, and he played in with the Marching 100 with Gus Walker and the boys. They were really good. But I
Yeah.
lived behind Scott and went to DeVilbiss. That wasn't very easy to do.
No, ooh, I bet it wasn't. Oh, I bet it wasn't. So you are very humble about your accolades and you know how good you were. But like I said, because of this group that we're about to talk about, I learned about you. I learned about a couple of your teammates, and I just asked questions and did my research and really heard you're a really outstanding player. You know, so shout out to you for being a legendary player in Toledo, Ohio, because a lot of the greats, you know, they lead the way and they led the way for us that came after y'all. Y'all put in all the hard work, all the grit, the grind, the dedication to be able to, set the forefront for us to come up in the future.
Well,
So,
absolutely. That's awesome. I do believe that, you know, you can't write the history of Toledo sports without writing about the 70s and 80s of
yeah.
Toledo, Ohio in athletics.
So is that what led to the group? How take us to how this group started and how the platform started and who all started it with you from the foundation.
Okay. Back in 2012, well, the founder of the page is Glenn Pearman. In
Okay.
2012, I think in August, is when he formed the group. The group is going on 12 years. Okay. I happened to notice the group in 2014, believe it or not. I had a friend of mine and a teammate of mine at All City, another All City player. I made All City and he did also, named Leslie Murphy, who was my running back. I
Okay.
noticed that he had a picture on this page. And I couldn't figure out what it was. So I said, like anybody else, I said, hey, I made All City. I'm putting my picture on here too. So, right. So I had, you want to be outdone by your teammate.
Yeah.
So I added my picture on there. Little did I know, at this time, the page probably had about 75 members. Okay. At this point in time, right now, today, there are about 4,200 members.
Yeah.
So after I seen that, and then all of a sudden, I kept seeing other people start to put pictures on this site. It was the first site on Facebook back in 2012. You hardly knew much about Facebook. You was just doing a little something, and you was trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
So I noticed that another guy named Rob Johnson had started posting his pictures from the 80s in Macomber. And then I noticed that he reposted my picture. Now, this is 2 years later. So all of a sudden, I go into the site of Athletes of the 70s and 80s. I go into the site, and I can see that now there are other people starting to post pictures.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, and little did I know that the founder was Glenn Pearman, a guy that I played sports against all the way from grade school to high school. He'll say that they beat us a lot, but don't believe the hype.
He
They
went
beat
to.
us one game real bad. He played for Central. They
Yeah.
beat
Okay.
us one time. I think it was 31-3 my senior year. But the other years, I think we gave them a little bit of something too, and I scored on them quite a bit. But anyway, so what happens is I noticed that he's the founder of this page, and all of a sudden I start to get phone calls from him, and don't you remember me? And so in 2014, I came aboard, okay, to help him with this page. So we started creating things, and we wanted to talk about all the athletes. Every athlete that we could find was valuable to us because we knew that it would mean a lot to those athletes just to hear and see their name again and to their family members.
Yeah.
So then what we decided to do was to push it and push it. So we started doing interviews with people, me, Rob Johnson, and Glenn Perriman. And
Okay.
now the page was started with Glenn Perriman and Terry Skinner, excuse me, and Coach George Merritt.
Okay.
Those guys got together. They were friends. George went to St. Francis and played football, and Terry went to St. Francis and played football, and Glenn Perriman went to Central and played football. And so they got together and kind of built the page. They would just get on there and just talk about people, talk about anybody. But there were no pictures. It was just more writing and words. So in
Yeah.
2014, we put the writing to pictures and words. And then what we did was we started to develop by interviewing others, interviewing great athletes such as I did John Flowers, and then I ended up doing Ann Strong. And so we started calling people and it built more and more and more and more and started to grow. And then we started to incorporate others into the page, bringing in more administrators, and treasurers and new CEOs. We came up with titles and started working. And then
Yeah.
we started to get other people to join the page. And as they joined, these athletes started hearing about it. They joined the page and would also bring pictures into us and bring more and more and more and more until we started forming a pretty big group. We wanted to represent everyone in our Toledo sports, the 70s and 80s. It started with the 70s and 80s, but now it has expanded all the way up to today's date.
Yeah.
With that in mind, we just wanted to make sure that all of our athletes, from our boxers, from our hockey players, from just great athletes in the city of Toledo. I think per capita, we've had the greatest athletes ever
Yeah.
for the size of the city.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, men, Brenda Moorhead, just unbelievable athletes. from our city. And so, and then we started in 2000, I think in 2018 or so, we brought our treasurer on board, even though he was a member all of the time. And what we wanted to do at that point was to give back. No, it was 2019. We wanted to give back to our community, something that was done for us. As I said, your brother passing it on to me, your relatives passing things on to me. We wanted to give back to those same kids and give a little help there. So we created a giving back program where we donate to the homeless, where we go and do charities, where we do camps, where we do so many different things for the city of Toledo, just so we can give back. We're a volunteer organization. We don't have, nobody gets paid for what we do. We just wanted to give back. So then we created a picnic also during the same course in time, so we could all get together. Black, white, green, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Just athletes of the 70s and 80s. And as you can see, it has expanded into quite a big page, and we've got quite a bit of members. And
Yeah.
also it helped us to reunite with other athletes that you would otherwise not even know about or hear about. You've seen them in school and you don't know where they are.
Yeah.
So now we've created like a family and a bond. We talk about those that have passed, the great athletes, their families, so they can be respected. And it allows us, their grandkids and great grandkids, due to the internet, now they'll never be forgotten.
Uh-huh.
It's just that's more of creativity of what we wanted to do, and again, so many great people involved. George Davis, he would go out and collect yearbooks. This is how we got started. He would go collect yearbooks and find yearbooks at the library because you didn't know where to get all these pictures from.
Yeah.
Now we have an archive of over 5,000 pictures. I've
Yeah. And
written over 5,100 articles.
brother, correct?
I'm sorry?
George Davis is Matt Davis' brother who played
That's
quarterback.
correct. George Davis
Ah,
at Scott. He's
yeah.
actually George Davis Administrative Hall of Famer
Yeah.
of
Because
athletes of the
I
70s
played
and
for
80s.
his brother. I played for his brother Matt Davis, who played in
Yeah,
'85.
Matt. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, lots of great things going on with that, and then we brought in more people. Again, like I said, it just grew more and more. Again, from a 75 member page to 4,200.
Mm.
We always hope that we're able to represent and respect our past.
Yeah. It was just something like July 4th weekend. I went to Cincinnati for my wife's family reunion. And when I went there, I finally got to meet Mr. Bill Granberry, who I knew of because of the page. So when he seen me, he said, "Nice to finally meet you in person, even though I know you in the group." And he was telling people that he knew me from the group. And then was over their house another time, so I was talking to Perry, which is his cousin, and he was, telling me like he on the page too. He on the page, so I got to showing them all the different pages and pictures, and I showed them. They said that guy is in the other room. The guy who was in the other room was Lerman Battle.
Yes,
I was able to show him his picture. So then I kept showing him the page and going down. He said, "Hold on, he in the other room too." So all these great Libby people and all these great players that was on the page, I was showing them their picture, and they was at the house. So it was just something that kind of tickled me because I wouldn't have never knew without the page, and that's bringing me close around these people, and I'm learning my history of the city. Like I knew a little bit about the Vilvis because from Mr. Blanton, who went there, was a great DeVilbiss player, and
yes,
my coach, Kenny Vaughn, who went there.
yeah,
So they tell me
yeah.
stories. I heard about the great '75 team. And
Who
so
was
I
your
used
coach?
Kenny Vaughn.
Kenny Vaughn. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, got you.
Yeah, Kenny Vine, he coached with Matt Davis my sophomore year at Scott.
He
So
played football for DeVilbiss. He was a monster.
yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. And so like I used to hear about these different stuff when I worked at Toledo. I worked with a lot of Libby people. So it was the Frogs. It was the team that used to go against the '85 team. I forgot the guard name. He used to can shoot a lot. So I was on there with him
Okay.
and Johnny Boys, all of those players, man. And it's just something to just see that, like you said, our city is rich in history, and we got a lot of great athletes on there. And this page is really bringing them together.
Yes, that's the intention of the page. And again, to honor those that have left us and those that are still present with us. So many great athletes. And also, another thing that we do is we try to get out there. Like some athletes, some of these Hall of Fames and all of that, they're slow to
Yeah,
add some of the members that should be there. Again, according to my opinion. Again,
yeah,
I'm not the blade. I'm not none of that. This is just my personal opinion. So
yeah,
we've been able to help some of our great athletes receive the accolades that they were due, long overdue.
yeah.
So it means a lot, and when you can do something like that, it doesn't have to be you, but what it does is it represents you
Mm-hmm.
and your history. We got Kim Leonard into the Hall of Fame,
Mm,
Michael World into the into the Hall of Fame. These things mean a lot. And,
yeah,
again, we didn't totally do it. We just kept blowing the horn until it finally got done.
yeah,
Their ability put them where they should be.
yeah.
So we fight for justice for our athletes also. Sometimes it goes unheard. Here, let me give you another one that I was working on. Nelson Bowden makes the college Hall of Fame,
Mm-hmm.
not in the city of Toledo Hall of Fame.
Wow.
One of the first to make the college football Hall of Fame. So
Yeah,
those small things, again, you can go on and on and on. The retirement of Dennis Hobson is
yeah,
Jersey, the leading scorer all time for Ohio State,
yeah,
Kelvin Ramsey.
yeah.
These things we advocate for. We've got great members. It's total respect for others. You know, in my 10 years of being a member and mainly working as the CEO of the page and assistant to Glenn Pearman, who's the founder of the page, we just want to give back.
Yeah,
That's it. It's just so good to be able to hear somebody's kid like yourself. You came
yeah,
onto the page, started bringing different different articles, different
yeah,
things that we could add to the page. So the page continues on by adding
yeah.
and evolving members from the 90s, the 2000s, to carry it on into the future with the
Mm,
rich history of Toledo sports.
yeah. And then I like how it ain't no crazy posting, it ain't no nonsense, like it's ran good, like where it's supposed to be. Like it ain't nothing extra, it ain't nobody like promoting, doing different stuff. It's all about like what you saying, the purpose of it and what it's supposed to be about.
Absolutely. We're a no nonsense page. Just respect your brothers and respect your sisters. And we've
Yeah,
had some unbelievable lady athletes. Unbelievable.
yeah,
I think they could compete with anybody ever.
yeah,
you know, is bringing them to the light. The
yeah,
1983, the first, I think in 74, I might be wrong, but Woodward to win the state championship. And then in 1983, for the St. Francis Knights to win the state championship in basketball. The dynasty of Scott High School of the 70s and 80s. Unbelievable. The
yeah,
back-to-back city champs at DeVilbiss. The back-to-back city champs of Scott High School.
yeah,
Incredible athletes of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, the Fran Washingtons, the Felicia
Yeah,
Boys, the
oh, yes, yes, yes. Woodward Polar Bear. She finally gets into a City League Hall of Fame
yeah,
or some type of Hall of Fame. You know, the Black Afro American League Hall of Fame. These things make us proud. We
yeah.
know that by putting them out there. Anybody, if you put them out there, you give them a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Without people's word of mouth and talking about them, I'm not so sure.
Yep, you're definitely right.
But we just wanted to bring to light that we've had some of the greatest athletes to ever grace each sport.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
I grew up in an era that sports was what you did. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you go outside, you play rough, you get hurt, you go home, you go back the next day. Well, no, wasn't none of that what it is today. You go out there, play, have fun, and compete. When I played football in high school, they had to have two all city teams, man. It was
Mm.
so competitive. You had the Blade all city and the coaches all city.
Okay.
Yeah, but now, like I said again, but the page is more about giving back to others. Some of the great athletes too. Just putting them out there. You don't know, it makes someone's day
Yeah.
sometimes, or their family member when they're gone, just to hear about them.
Yep.
We have over, like again, we started off with maybe 2 or 3 pictures. We have 5,000 pictures of great athletes due to yourself and all of our administrators that have added to that page. It's not a single man's job or single lady's job. We have great administrators, Jim Brown, just Liddy Cowboy. It's just incredible. I can't name all of them, but they know who they are.
Yeah.
Some incredible administrators on this page, man. Great people. And the picnic is unbelievable. People just keep coming. The picnic is a thing that again we created in 2019. We're on the 3rd annual one. The COVID cut us back, but we've continued to grow through it. And it's
Yeah.
so cool to meet people, like Donald Collins. Come on, man.
And then I was
Incredible.
able through the page to
uh,
play for the Hawks.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, unbelievable. We've
man.
had some of the greatest, these guys drafted 4th, 7th, in the NBA.
Uh, I have been even able to send Jim Jackson some pictures off the page on IG, and he liked it, and he responded to some of the pages and the pictures that I have sent him that I have seen with him in high school, and all of the other pictures and middle, like just different things. So it sparks conversations and family. When I had went home to Toledo to visit my dad, and them, I'm like, Dad, you know Charles Hillery, so he knew you, so he told me, yeah, he a great football player. Yeah, I know him. I'm like, man, so we got to talking about back then, talking about how y'all used to play, and the Tyrone Watkins, and all
Yep.
of that. Man, the Ivor Greers, Rodney DeBose, like all of them, like is what I grew up hearing about, and now getting a page, I'm able to expand and be able to like learn about other people that I might not have known about. Because they don't just talk about it. Some people let you know what they did. Some people very humble. Like my Fellowship of Christian athlete, he was not founder, but he was a leader of our group when we were at Scott, Rick Isaiah. He's about to go in the Hall of Fame at UT, but he don't even really talk about this type of stuff. So it's like being able to see that, being able to post that, showing honors, homage, and letting everybody else be able to see it too. It's a joy, and that's what is needed in today's like people need that. So that's why I said this page it's a blessing. It really is.
Yeah, and I thank you for that. That's what it's designed for, to lift others. Again, if some of the athletes you would never hear about, and to see someone come onto the page that's a relative of one of these athletes that are gone, man, they give
Mm,
you the biggest joy in the world.
Mm-hmm.
When they say, hey, yeah, you remember my brother? Yeah, he was awesome. You know, we talk about him. And it's a positive page. That's the key.
Yeah.
We don't deal on negativity. Everyone has a past and everyone has a future. Our thing is to deal on the positive of what they did and what they done. We don't use something against someone. That's not what this page is about.
Yeah. Did you play with Farley Bell or he's after you?
But Farley played before me. Farley
He-
played with
he-
Terry Crosby and
okay.
Charles McQuarrie, Gary Mayweather. Those guys were the back-to-back city champs.
Okay.
Farley played the position that I ended up playing. I started my sophomore year, okay? And I started my sophomore year, junior and senior year. Well, I played after Farley. Farley left and Terry and those guys left. And, I became the leading touchdown maker and for a tight end in DeVilbiss Tiger history.
Mm.
We were a running team back then, man.
I just was thinking in my head before you saying it. I'm trying to think what offense y'all ran. I'm like, I tote the ball a lot.
Yeah, we were a running team, but my coach, who Jim Rance, was also on the page. That means a lot to me, man. To have my coach on the page. My coach
Man.
is also on the page. He brought in throwing the ball a little more because I could catch the ball, so he would throw the ball. I could block, and it was just incredible. And those things you carry through your life, where a coach innovates something for you, he innovates something for the team, and gives you an opportunity to shine. And those things you can't buy.
Yeah.
Can't buy.
Mm.
And his influence, your coach's influence in your life, how some of the things that you thought may have been wrong are right.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible, and that's what this page is about. I'm grateful that you took the time to call me, nephew, and
Yeah.
to get this on out there. Again, I'm not a real vocal person on myself, because the page means more than self.
Yeah.
There are much greater athletes than me, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Just happy to be one of them.
Mm-hmm. So what is the plans on the future with the page? Just continue to add, continue to share different things. Is it
Yes,
in?
yes. We've got a new CEO now of the page. I'm retired. The new
Okay.
CEO of our page is Tanel Overton. Okay. Now, even though Chanel went to school with me, so he's about as old as I am, but the thing is to continue it on, to allow it to grow, to get
Yeah.
some of our younger members, some of the members from the 90s to bring it on, the 2000s, to
Yeah.
continue it on into the future, way beyond my time.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's everything. Well, I thank you for taking this time out, and I thank you for all the groundbreaking work that you did to the page. You and all of the groups, all the people that you named collectively. I thank y'all. It's an honor to be a part of the page and to be able to have an input in it. For you to even take time out for us to, bring light and shine light to the page, because it's awesome to me, and it's awesome to a lot of other people, and people look forward to people posting. Like, I got people that find pictures that give me the pictures. Huh, post this on the page. My auntie, Andre Allen, she even knew about the page. Like, and it's just something to just have conversation, like I said, with family members about it. But I just really thank you for this opportunity to be able to share and shine a light on what's going on with the page.
And I thank you again for taking the time to interview me, and may the page last forever, brother.
Yeah, yeah. So thanks. It's been great. I'll be in touch with you.
Thank you so much, sir. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. Will do.
Bye.
Bye.